Hey there, BJ. In this video, I am going to show you 3 things that you guys can do today to help bring in more customers to your business. Again, my name is Seleni McGregor and I work with business owners across the state of Utah. So I did put together this quick custom video for you just about your online presence and specifically how you stack up against your competition. I'm sure at this point, you're most likely sitting there asking yourself, well, why would she be doing this and what is the catch? Well, that is a fair question. What I have found is that most local business owners are just too busy actually running their business. They might be swamped with payroll, helping customers, answering questions, dealing with employees, and just staying on top of jobs that many times learning how to leverage the internet to benefit their company just gets buried underneath all of the other to-dos. And based on our conversation earlier today, I know a lot of the reasons that people haven't hired somebody yet is because they don't know who to trust or know who is truly an expert. So that is exactly why I make videos like this. I have found that by giving people an easy, free attack plan of things that they can actually do to impact their business for free, it has resulted in some of those local business owners still raising their hands and saying, hey, I like you, Seleni, can you please just handle this for me? So if by the end of this video you've liked what you've heard and can see that I've got a lot of tricks up my sleeve that can help your business, then shoot me a message back and we can chat. Or if at the end of this video, if you simply want to take this free attack plan that I give to you and do it yourself, that totally works for me too. Now let's cover the 3 things that are going to set BJ's Paint and Epoxy above your competition. First would be content, second citations, and third backlinks. So first up is content here. So since Google isn't a human, it doesn't just know what you do, it has to be told through your content. So content is basically going to be anything here you can see on your homepage that is highlighted. So this can be text, can be pictures, what pictures are saved as, what's behind the pictures. All of that can be considered content here. Now let's jump up here into a picture. I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. If we do a right click and a save as, I can actually see what your image is saved as. You can see right here, just got your name and then some just kind of generic letters or numbers. Sorry, that one was letters. And then if I scroll up, let's go save as here. We've got your full name here, which is better than even just having some letters and numbers. But alternatively, the very best would be to be using high volume keywords. That way you're including those in the detailed image descriptions and your saved images. Again, all of these things are bots, things that the Google bots can read and basically get an idea of what are your services, what areas are you targeting, and all of those things are going to position you in the search ranking. So the goal is having unique and authoritative content, and you need to have enough of it to add in the right keywords and phrases that people are actually searching for in Google in order for somebody to find the services that you offer. Most business owners know that they need content, but what they don't know is that typically to rank number 1, the average content count is 1,500 to 2,400 words on your homepage. Again, while making sure it has the right keywords and phrases that your customers are actually searching for. So when I went ahead and plugged in your content, I can see your homepage here has about 635 words here on your homepage. Now, if we jump over here into your top competitor, which again, in the epoxy, I focused this whole video on epoxy just based on our conversation earlier. But these guys are your number 1 competitor here for epoxy flooring there in the St. George area. And when I went ahead and copied their content here from their homepage and plugged it into my same tool, I can see they're sitting over 2,000 words here on their homepage alone. Again, this is very beatable to be able to increase your content count. Make sure you have the right keywords and phrases so that your company is being found for those services that you're looking to find more leads for. Now we're actually going to jump over here into one of my tools. This tool is called Ahrefs. It's a really cool tool, but it essentially gives me behind the scene details that Google's looking at when it comes to ranking a site, so I can get a pretty good idea of what's working well for you and for your competition. So first up, I ran a quick scan of your competition here. I've got their URL plugged in right here, and you can see here how many keywords their website is being found for. Now we're going to take a deeper dive into this, and we can see the exact keywords that they're ranking for and what some of your customers are actually searching for every single month. Now, let me go ahead and type in St. George. You can actually see right off the bat, they are not being found for anything here in the St. George area. They do have a couple, let me hurry and highlight Utah. You can see they've got a couple of Utah keywords that their website is being found for, but really it looks like there's not a high competition that's doing a great job at this in the epoxy setting. Now I went ahead and typed in, just looking at the different keywords for epoxy there in the St. George area. And you can see here that it's a pretty wide range of what people are searching when they're trying to find epoxy services. So you've got St. George epoxy being searched 10 times every month, St. George epoxy floor 10 times every month, epoxy flooring St. George, Utah 10 times, and then all of these other epoxy and different types of key phrases that people are typing in. Those are all being searched kind of at a variable rate. It looks like every month it's changing, and so it's hard to pinpoint the exact amount that it is being searched every single month. But even just looking at this, I mean, if your top competitor's not even being found for these, but they're still ranking as number one, that typically just means that there's not high competition for this in that area, and so they're the best result that Google is finding, even though it doesn't find it exactly for the St. George area for epoxy. They're the first ones being pulled open here, again, according to the tool. But even just looking at this, kind of gives us an idea. You've got probably about 100-ish people, obviously give or take because of some of these ranges here, that are searching every single month for different epoxy services there in the St. George area. Now, if we jump over here into my tool specifically for your company, I've got your URL plugged in here. I can see what your website is being found for. So again here, your website is not being found for any keywords here. Again, I know that you're not focused necessarily on painting. I do know that St. George area does have quite a bit of volume for painting, but I know you said you're pretty good there. But as far as epoxy, this is really where you would want to be able to focus. And that currently, just with the tool, Google's just not finding you and linking you to the location-specific services like St. George epoxy, St. George epoxy flooring, and all of these different key phrases. So again, based on you wanting more leads and customers in the epoxy area, down in your St. George area, what would that do for your company and for what you're looking for if you were able to gain the top spot for all of this traffic, or even just a percentage of that traffic, honestly? Now we're actually going to jump over, let's see, I guess before I jump over, just kind of wrapping up, the very first thing for you to do to help beat out your competition is making sure that you get over, usually I recommend at least the 1,500, but because your competition is over 2,000, you'd want to get over 2,000 words and having it keyword rich content here on your homepage, because again, that's what's helping drive your competition's business and getting them to the top spot, and that is 100% beatable if you get that done. Now again, we're going to jump over here into Google. I do have one of those search keywords typed in here. We've got St. George epoxy flooring typed in, and you can see here in the very top part the ads section. And here's the thing with ads can totally work, but they can also be a money pit if your website's not dialed in, or like if customers are using an ad blocker. So just be really careful to not burn through your money with Google ads until you know for sure that your site is going to convert. Now we're going to jump down here below the ads section. We're going to jump down into the map area. This is the coveted map area. Has a lot to do with the second important thing that we're going to talk about, which is citations. So again, what is a citation, you might be asking yourself? Well, this is, of course, the Google Map Pack. And so citations has a lot to do with it. I'm sure you've used this Google Map Pack section. You've maybe even thought to yourself, how in the world can I get my business up here in the top 3 sections? Well, again, it all comes back to citations. The number one thing that Google looks at to rank you in the top 3 is citations. Sorry, I keep saying that word a lot, but citations, here's what they are. It's the name, address, and phone number of your business being listed on as many online directories as possible. When you have a lot of citations, then these help Google to be able to verify you and then give relevance to your local business. So to push your business here on the top 3 spots in the Map Pack, you just need to increase your citation game. When you get more citations than your competitor, especially from authoritative and industry-specific websites, your credibility boosts, you gain more trust from Google, and therefore pushes you above your competition. Now, you might be asking yourself, great, but how do you actually do that? Well, there are page tools that'll tell us the exact directories that your competition is being listed on here, and then we can go out and match them. But of course, we don't want to just match them, we want to dominate them. what we have seen is that with most like painting companies, epoxy companies, anybody ranked here at the top, they're usually around 100 to 200 citations. So if you're pushed down below that, maybe second, third, fourth, fifth page, you might only have 10 to 30 citations. So we not only need to go get those that'll match your top competitors, but then we need to beat them out online. Now let's talk about the last thing that I wanted to cover with you today, which is backlinks, often called link juice. And this third pillar is really going to help you dominate on Google. So again, when we typed in St. George epoxy flooring, we do have this little sneaking one right here that's actually technically ranked as number 1, but typically they go down below the map pack, typically into your organic listing section is what we call this down here. Now, obviously we can see here that your site is not ranked as number 1, number 2, 3, 4, 5, anywhere here on the first page of Google. Now, ideally, this is where we'd like to be, and honestly, in the top 3. Hard to highlight up there, but really the top 3 positions gain 75% of the clicks, meaning that most of your potential customers are choosing one of the first 3 results. They're never making it down to your listing. So to get here, you've got to beat out your competition in every aspect. You need authority. So how do you get authority? Well, this is where the backlinks come into play. Basically, a backlink is when one website links to another website online. So again, just think about it kind of like a popularity contest. You want the coolest, most popular kid to be recommending you. So the one with the most popularity contest here, they're the ones with the most authority, so they are winning. And I do say relevant links here because not all links are created equal. If you guys are epoxy flooring or painters, you wouldn't want to get a backlink from an ice cream shop linking back to you because you don't make ice cream. Although tasty, that backlink would be useless to you. But if you had one from a local blog or industry-specific site linking back to you, it would be much more effective. Now let's jump back over here again into my Ahrefs tool. I can see here you've got 0 backlinks being pointed back to your website. Obviously, I know based on our conversation, you've tried a couple of people and they have not proven to have done much towards your website to really be helping with that. This is a huge area that helps bring the power, especially once you've added your content here. Now, jumping over here into the number 1, they've got 57 backlinks being pointed back to their website, and some from very strong, relevant sources. So again, how do we get these? Well, here with my tool, I can actually go in and I can see the exact sites that they're being listed on. I can go out and get the same ones, if not better. I actually see that this one has a lot of bad quality sites being pointed back to their website, so we wouldn't want to mimic those. We want to go ahead and get better quality sites being pointed back to your website. Again, this is very beatable with time. Getting you here to the top of Google, it's not magic. It's just a tried and true method, and I have shown you that method here today. So again, the 3 things that you can do today to grow your online presence, especially focusing on the epoxy flooring there in the St. George area. First, just changing up and optimizing your content here. First of all, getting it to at least the 2,000 words with the right keywords and phrases so that your customers are finding the services that you are offering, especially what you're trying to target there. Second is citations, getting your name, address, and phone number listed on as many online directories. That way you can show up and show that you're dominant in that Google Maps space. And then lastly, just making sure that we actually go get some good quality, relevant sites being pointed back to your website. That way you show Google that you are the authority here. If you implement these strategies today, you can be number 1 across Google. Again, I'm sure you're probably sitting there asking yourself, okay, well, what now? Well, you really have a few options. First, if you feel like you cannot handle any more clients every month, that is absolutely fair. Just send me a quick note back telling me you watched the video, tell me your thoughts about it. I would really appreciate your feedback so I can continue to get better at what I do. On the other hand, if you're ready to grow, you can take this blueprint and implement these 3 strategies on your very own today. I gave you the exact formula that businesses do pay tons of dollars to have, and it's all yours to use to help your company. Now, if you found this information valuable, and if you're still one of those business owners to still raise their hands for the most effective route, just go ahead and respond to my email. We'll set up a time to chat. Once again, my name is Seleni, and I look forward to your feedback. Thanks so much, BJ. We'll talk to you soon.